Hi, this is CricketSong with Lunar Wisdom, and in this video I'm going to be discussing what are dimensions. This video was brought to you by the generous donations from viewers like you. To learn more about how to support CricketSong and to continue to view content such as this, please visit our Patreon page by clicking the link below. I'm recording this video because there was a comment from a viewer subscriber on my video, Who is Syra? And I was asked to describe what the dimensions are. This comment came up because Syra revealed herself to be a seventh dimensional being, and this viewer wanted to know if I could explain what the dimensions were so they could get a better understanding of what she meant when she said she was a seventh dimensional being. Now, when I describe the different dimensions, I'm going to be referring a lot to Christopher Penczak's book Ascension Magic. The reason I'm doing this is because through my communications with Syra, this is where I got a lot of my personal understandings of the multi-dimensions that exist. But a lot of the communication that is done between Syra and myself is through imagery and feelings, and not a lot through words that could be easily translated to communicate to you my understandings. And when I was reading this book by Christopher Penczak, it was the closest that came to my understandings of what the dimensions are. I do not and will not be sharing word for word what he's written because some of my own understandings differ. And if I can use my own words while describing the different dimensions, then I will share with you my own words. So if you want to know more about the dimensions, I would refer to you to his book Ascension Magic. Most of the information can be found in chapter 6. So when we're talking about the different dimensions, from my perspective, we're not looking at it from a mathematical standpoint. We're not talking about, the first dimension being a line, the second dimension being the length and width of it, the third dimension being width, height, depth, and breadth, the fourth dimension being time. We're not talking about that. We're looking at it from a density point of view, a vibrational frequency, where the lower frequencies are denser than the higher frequencies, which are lighter. We're talking about the vibration of sound and light. That's how we're coming into this. Each dimension is a different level or vibrational frequency, and human beings currently exist on the third dimension. Even though we reside or align with the third dimension, this does not mean that we cannot shift or change our personal vibrational frequency to align with a different dimension. We have the ability to do that. And when we do that, we are then able to either travel or communicate with those entities that align with that dimensional frequency or that vibrational frequency. This allows that interaction. So when I talk about channeling Syra or any other spiritual entity, I have raised my personal vibrational frequency to a different level. And sometimes those entities shift their vibrational frequency to our level, or we meet somewhere in the middle where we can establish a connection and then be able to interact with one another. Our consciousness or subconsciousness, or if you prefer, our essence, exists on all density levels, which is why we're able to do this shifting. It's almost like tuning in a frequency of a radio station. We can move that dial up and down and be able to hear what is being broadcast on a specific channel. When we are able to align ourselves not only with the higher frequencies or a higher dimension, we can also align ourselves with a lower dimension. And within my spiritual practice, that would be what is called a traveling to the underworld, where we can then lower our vibrational frequency in order to journey or interact with entities on a more dense vibrational frequency. Within a dimension, there are also more subtle frequencies within that dimension. Just as when you meet a human being, where we are all currently residing in the third dimension, each human being has a different personality or different characteristics, which makes each of us unique. So when you meet one human being, you haven't met all human beings. It is the same with other spiritual entities who reside on the different dimensions. Just because you meet one fourth dimensional being doesn't mean you've met them all, because each of them have subtle differences, because their personal vibrational frequencies are a little different from others who also align with that particular dimension. Each of the dimensions have a guardian or a caretaker or some sort of sentient life form that aligns with that dimension, that guards the dimension or protects the dimension or is the overseer of that dimension. Human beings are the caretakers or are the guardians of the third dimension, although we may not be doing a very good job of that. So now we're going to go into a description of each of the individual dimensions. The first dimension is the vibrational frequency of planetary consciousness. This dimension relates to the planet, the sentient being known as Gaia. This first density level is the level of the consciousness that connects all beings that live on the earth, whether it is recognized or not. We are all part of the planet's being. If this vibrational frequency did not exist, then all living beings that currently reside on planet Earth would also cease to exist. Gaia is what connects everything on the planet to each other and to itself. It is a level of consciousness. This consciousness holds the understandings and the knowledge of everything that has happened prior, that is happening now, and the possibilities of what will happen on planet Earth. When individuals talk about accessing the Akashic records, not only are they aligning themselves with the higher density levels, they're also aligning themselves with the lower levels so that they can access all this knowledge. When we journey to the lower vibrational frequencies of the first or second dimension, we are in essence descending to the underworld. And that is where the information about the planet's history resides. It is also the vibrational frequency or the realm of the ancestors and the dark gods and goddesses. Gaia is where the birth of the earth began. And everything that resides on the earth began with Gaia. She is our mother. Now, this does not mean that she also is responsible for birthing the universe. That would come at another vibrational level. When we attune our consciousness to the first dimension, when we descend to the underworld, this is where we come to gain knowledge of our primal nature and our relationship with Gaia and all the other life forms that reside on the earth. Gaia is the guardian of the first dimension. The second dimension is the vibrational frequency of the consciousness between Gaia and humanity. This is the forces of nature, the realm of those energies that mediate between Gaia and all of humanity. The guardians of this are the telluric beings, which have been also called elementals, nature spirits, fairies, divas, goblins, gremlins, all of those mystical creatures that are tied to the planet are the guardians of this vibrational frequency, the second dimension. This is a little bit higher in vibrational frequency than the first dimension, but is still considered part of the underworld. The elementals are these spiritual beings that are tied to the elements of earth, air, fire, and water. They guide and harness the energy of the elements of the earth and are able to manipulate that and guard that and nurture those elements. They create the gateways between the third dimension and the second and first dimensions. Pan is usually associated with being the overall guardian of the second dimension, as well as Cernunnos and the Green Man. To work in the second dimension, we do so quite frequently when we cast Magic Circle and hold ritual. It is when we're casting Magic Circle that we are creating a bubble or a place between the realms. And it is when we call the quarters and create the portals that we are able to connect to the vibrational frequency of the second dimension. It aligns us with body, nature, and any of the physical, natural aspects of the energies of the earth. The third dimension is the vibrational frequency of human consciousness. We reside, or we currently align with the third dimension. It is the collective consensus of physical reality. It includes seasons, it includes cycles, lunar and solar. It includes all the physical laws that we have understood to be reality. It is our collective consciousness that has created these laws. We also have created time and space. They are the constructs that we have created for the third dimension to understand and to structure our life experiences. The third dimension is the middle world, or the world of humanity, the bridge between the lower first and second dimensions and the higher fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh dimensions. Humanity is meant to be the guardians of this third dimension. We are meant to understand and keep the knowledge of all that has been involved with humanity. We are meant to be the keepers of the Akashic records of the earth, of that knowledge from the first and second dimensions. The fourth dimension is the vibrational frequency of the collective unconscious. It is the realm where our thoughts, our understandings, archetypes, dreams all align. Here we are not limited by the natural laws that we have created for the third dimension, including time and space. The fourth dimension is the dream world, or the astral plane, and you can do anything that your imagination allows you to do. The fourth dimension is not dense like the third dimension. Here we are available to experience anything. Here is where magicians and witches, magical practitioners, sorcerers, wizards are able to manifest their desires. They understand that if you manifest on the fourth dimension, then you can manifest that same thing in the third dimension. Nothing on the third dimension can be manifested unless it was manifested in the fourth dimension first. This is where we can practice our magic. We can practice skills of astral travel, remote viewing, where we can build astral thought forms to manifest physical results in the third dimension. The fourth dimension is the screen to the higher dimensions. It's where things are projected to us and we gain understanding through correspondences, through symbols, through sigils, and the like. Our minds are able to translate all that we experience in the fourth dimension and bring that knowledge to the third dimension. The keepers of the fourth dimension are the gods. But when you experience the gods on the fourth dimension, it is just projections of their true energetic frequency. They are truly only God forms because their energy is aligned with a higher dimension. The gods, like human beings, are able to exist on multiple levels simultaneously. It is through the fourth dimension where the gods communicate with us through stories and myths, through songs and rituals. They may come to us in our dreams or in meditations and visions. It is through the fourth dimension that the gods and humanity meet and create a personal relationship. But do not mistake their power, for they are not limited by the fourth dimension. It is simply one vibrational frequency where they express themselves, where they manifest themselves. The guardians of the fourth dimension are the star tribe of Nibirian, also known as the Anunnaki. The fifth dimension is the vibrational frequency of the collective consciousness. It is where you and I become we. Even though the individual personality is not completely sacrificed, there is a greater understanding of the group identity. The paradox may be difficult for third dimensional beings to understand, but here on the fifth dimension, it is completely understood and rectified. We experience unconditional love and a commitment to that love on the fifth dimension. We are aware and conscious of the paradox of duality and separation. All dualities and polarities are recognized but understood and transcended. Here we see and greatly comprehend that time and space are illusions, that there is no linear concept of time, and the past, present, and future all reside within the same moment. Being rooted in heart space is being rooted in the fifth dimension. That is where we gain understanding of things through unconditional love. It is where the unity exists within everything and all beings. It is ecstasy. It is Zen. Our strongest teachers and allies of reaching the fifth dimension are the Ascended Masters. This is where they align and through the fifth dimension teach us in the third dimension about unity. The Palladians are the guardians of the fifth dimension. The sixth dimension is the vibrational frequency of sacred geometry. Sacred geometry is the study of form and structure. All material things in the third dimension have an energetic template. According to traditional occult principle, in order for anything to exist in the material world, it must first exist on the astral plane. All form precipitates down from the sixth dimension through the fifth dimension and to the astral archetypes of the fourth dimension, and finally a physical form in the third dimension, as well as the second and first. So while the fifth dimension is in nature based in unconditional love, the sixth dimension is mental in nature and based on ideas and information. The sixth dimension guides the process for all shapes and forms because they are rooted here in the sixth dimension. Humanity's oversoul, or collective consciousness, connects us genetically, culturally, and spiritually here from the sixth dimension. On the fourth dimension, we see the archetypes. It is in the sixth dimension that these first thoughts for the archetypal patterns were based. This level holds pure forms of those specific expressions, and the true power exists as pure concepts on the sixth dimension, moving through the harmony of the fifth dimension and express themselves individually and will make contact to humanity through the fourth dimension. Practitioners of spiritual traditions who work with various gods of creation find that the archetypes act as gateways to the expanded consciousness in other dimensions, as they were projections in the fourth dimension, but they are the gateways to the higher gods and goddesses that may exist on the sixth dimension or higher. Along with the gods, the devas are also associated here on the sixth dimension. Many think that the devas are only plant spirits, but they are also an oversoul or a higher self of all of nature, and are perfected and are pure in form on the sixth dimension. A power animal or an animal ally that you may experience may also be the oversoul of all animal life and may be aligned with the vibration of the sixth dimension. Many artists and scientists connect with the sixth dimensional realm in order to access sacred geometry into their work. Practices such as yoga, martial arts, and other physical disciplines align with sixth-dimensional energies. The study of sacred geometry and understanding intellectually and intuitively how all things are connected through patterns and form, and how our own proportions are perfected, are found on the sixth dimension. The guardians of the sixth dimension are the Sirians, who come from the star Sirius. The seventh dimension is the vibrational frequency of cosmic sound. Not only the vibratory patterns that we hear in the physical realm, but the harmonics of creation itself. Once we pass the sixth dimension, the dimensions become less dense and form and shape are difficult to describe. The concepts are more abstract when we move from the seventh dimension forward. The universe was created through sound. Though many spiritual traditions look to imagery as creation's core, it is truly sound or notes. The seventh dimension is similar to superstring theory, which is a model in which all the particles and fundamental forces of the universe are seen as tiny strings that vibrate at resonant frequencies. The more complex the sound played, the more complex a shape is created. This includes the images we see when we look up sacred geometry. The first step taken to form a sacred geometry in the sixth dimension is done so in the seventh dimension. Magic is becoming conscious of our own weaver nature, our own ability to weave the strings, to pluck out the right notes, and to change our part of the song of creation to create the life we want. It is working with sound that aids us in alignment with the seventh dimension. When we are on the seventh dimension, we vibrate sonically through the other dimensions into the physical world to create that which we desire. Healing the physical body can be done through seventh dimension understandings using sound. It is through this sound that we can treat illness by restoring a person's perfect patterns of their sacred geometry, just as cosmic sound creates the perfect geometrical patterns of the universe. The guardian spirits of the seventh dimension are those star spirit intelligences from the Andromeda galaxy. Little is known about the Andromedans, but as I have said earlier, Syra has revealed that she is a seventh dimension being. The eighth dimension is the vibrational frequency of the divine mind. Some describe this divine mind as divine light. As light workers will tell you, this divine light transcends and permeates through all other dimensional realms. The eighth dimension is the source of our experience of various God forms, and it is through these various God forms that are projected into the fourth dimension. So when you meet a particular deity on the fourth dimension, you are actually touching the divine mind, which is found on the eighth dimension. It is these beings, these gods, that act as gateways to the transcendental aspects of divinity. When we look at the eighth dimensional mind light, we see the seventh dimensional cosmic sound, the sixth dimensional sacred geometry, and these levels have parallels in the lower dimensions. It's in the unity of the fifth dimension, the archetypes of the fourth dimension, and the form and shape of the third dimension. It is the third dimension that is the manifestation of the visible light, sonic sound patterns, and this divine mind manifested. The spiritual guardians of the eighth dimension are beings from the constellation Orion. The ninth dimension is the vibrational frequency of the galactic center. It is the black hole that acts as the gravitational linchpin of our system. It is the heart of the Milky Way, the interface and transformational point into the next realm, which some describe as a new universe. It's a stargate, and the guardians of the ninth dimension are the Tzolk'in. The 10th dimension is the vibrational frequency of the previous 9 dimensions. It's actually the vertical axis which aligns all the other dimensions. When an individual can recognize and perceive all the other dimensions, then they have come to the 10th dimension. It is within the 10th dimension that allows you ascension and descension into all the other dimensions of the reality. And it is the 10th dimension that gives you access to the 11th dimension. The 11th dimension is an all-encompassing energy field that manifests and contains the previous dimensions, the 1st through the 10th. It is the first realm of universal consciousness. The 11th dimension is the expansion of the boundary and container of all the other dimensions, 10 through 1. The 12th dimension is the vibration of the great central sun of our universe. It is the source from where all the galaxies in our universe emanate and around which they revolve. It is the source of universal consciousness and a higher aspect of the divine mind and creator of the universe. It is universal logos, the universal creative source. And the 13th dimension is the vibration of the gateway to all universes beyond this universe. That is the level of cosmic consciousness, the cosmic logos, and the source of all other universes in the multiverse. It is through this 13th dimension that you're able to access other universes. So if you look at the 13th dimension, you may see it as the new universe that humanity is going towards or ascending to access. And when you are a master of this 13th dimension, then you are able to travel between all other universes. So it's sort of where time travel would be accessed. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or any other social media platform. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. This way you won't miss any of my newly uploaded videos. Be sure to connect with me on Facebook through my CricketSong fan page or my Lunar Wisdom business page. And you can always find me on my website at www.lunarwisdom.net.